Hello, friends. So this is kind of like the setup for what I'm going to do with this set of readings. This is kind of like a test reading. I did a few test readings for people I knew, and then I kind of did another test reading, just kind of like a tell me what I need to know, tell me a random story, and this is what I got. So it does have religious connotations, so I kind of want to put that out there. Some people may not be particularly religious, but just see this as, I don't know, it's a message for somebody, and that person may be religious. I don't know. I kind of see everything as one big thing. Like everything is God, right? If God is omnipresent, then everything is God. But I don't say God so much as the universe, right? It's like the one energy. That's kind of my own philosophy. So I'm not intending to make anyone feel rejected here. I'm not intending to kind of argue about which religion is correct. That's not what I'm doing here. I don't want to kind of like, it just makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable talking about when religion comes into my readings. I had it a little bit with Pisces, but it was incredibly positive because it was like you are a miracle, your existence is a miracle, Pisces. So it was this lovely message. This is also quite a positive message, and it does speak to me about some of the messages that do come through the Bible. I was just looking at my mum's little Bible here that I kind of inherited. Quite a little simple thing. I do flick through it from time to time, and I find it a little bit outdated, a little bit judgy. I remember some of the stories that I was told in school, which, a lot of the stories are there to give you a good moral compass. And I think maybe that groundwork that I got as a child in a school that taught kind of Bible type stories, I think it did give me quite a nice little. It was nice to think about the stories. It was nice to think, oh, the Good Samaritan and this kind of stuff. So, and going back to kind of like some of the old Greek philosophers who said, what stories should we tell our children? What should their inspiration be? Should we tell them stories about these gods who are kind of, the Greek gods who are kind of vengeful and stuff like this? Or, should we tell them about the stories about the heroes and all these good qualities? But what about when the heroes fail? So there was all these like philosophical arguments going on kind of, even kind of 2000 odd years ago. So 2200 years ago, roughly, was it? Time of like Socrates and Plato and that lot, when these kind of questions were being raised. So if you want to look at it as kind of like a guidebook, maybe, but I do feel like somebody here is particularly, there does seem to be a particularly religious message. So what I'm kind of getting from this is, you can see needle and thread here. It does remind me of that bit in the Bible that says, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle than a rich man to enter heaven, something like that. So basically the message that's coming through, especially with the diamond and the star on either side, because to me it came out for a long time in Libra readings, and when I see the visual representation of the soul, it is often a diamond which has a star inside. It's a diamond with a light inside. When the light radiates, you see the rainbows come out of the diamond, you see the true colours of the soul. So the star and the diamond together very much mean the soul to me, and it's either side of the needle and thread. So it's really giving me quite strongly, do you want your soul to pass through the eye of the needle? Do you want your soul to go to heaven? You can't take stuff with you, right? You can't take material things with you, which is why the King and Queen of Pentacles are kind of down here, I want to say. So it's that lesson of like true worth. What is a person truly worth? It's not what it's not what their bank account is, right? It's not how many zeros are in the bank account. It's not how if they've got the designer shoes. It's not if they've got a big mansion. These are not true indicators of a person's worth. It's just an indicator of a person's wealth. Wealth and worth are not the same thing. The worth of a soul is if you're a good person, if you have a good moral compass, if you do the right thing in difficult situations. So sorry, my son is off school today. He's playing computer games with his friends, so you may hear him downstairs. I am just kind of listening out. I don't want to kind of shut the door and not be able to hear him. I kind of want to supervise, so you may just hear him shouting from time to time. I think he's doing like scary maps and things, so you may hear a bit of So yeah, like just to kind of say what's going on there if you can hear that. So yeah, very much, especially because the death card is here, right? The death card is here. It looks to me like somebody has concerns about will my soul go to heaven? What will happen after I die? Am I a good person? These kinds of things. Um, I'm also getting with this mountain road, you are the road on the road to success. And especially because there's stuff here about gaining a different perspective or a higher perspective, which I'll kind of talk through in a second. You can see this person stood up on this mountaintop here, waiting to receive something. And with this mountain road, you are on the road to success. I actually, when I was talking about this reading later, after I'd kind of done the reading, I was thinking, how am I going to communicate this? Because again, I was like, I don't know if I want to put this video up. It's taking me out of my comfort zone to talk about a religion that I am not an active, like, 100% believing. They're giving me credos, member of. I don't want to insult people. I don't want to. It just makes me uncomfortable because some people are like, religion, no, not for me, and are quite push back against it, and some people don't want to hear it, and other people, if it's something that's very close to their heart, if it's something that they 100% truly believe in, I don't want to be sounding offensive or anything like this, so it does make me nervous. So I was talking about it. And when I was talking about the mountain, I was hearing Sinai, and I may be pronouncing it wrong. I was actually seeing the words, and I was like, right, I know that's a mountain, right? I know it's a mountain, but I don't know exactly where it is. I can't remember what stories are attached to that. And I was kind of getting pilgrimage, so it's like somebody going on a pilgrimage to climb this mountain. So I googled it, and it's in Egypt, which I should know, right? I should be better at geography. And it's actually the mountain that Moses supposedly climbed. So Moses went up the hill, got the 10 Commandments, had this epiphany, like there stood up on the mountaintop, right? And then he kind of came back down and kind of told other people about it, which you could say this dog barking could be an indicator of that. And I, again, don't mean to be that to be rude. It says advice from a friend. It's like this, somebody communicating, I've got something to say. I've been up the mountain, I've got a new perspective, I've got something to say. It could be that somebody is on a pilgrimage, like I want to go up this mountain. I want to go to Mount Sinai. I want to walk the path that Moses walked. I want to see if God speaks to me. It could be that somebody's experiencing something like that, or wants to do something like that, or not, right? So just getting into this this reading in general, it does feel like somebody's been fighting some kind of battle. You have the shadow side here, which is the devil card in the tarot. Now, again, take it as you will. It doesn't mean the literal, like, kind of biblical devil to me. And that's why I like that it's called the shadow side in this deck, because to me it's like kind of our own inner demons. How does that play out personally, through your own life, through your own story, and the decisions that you make. So it's taking ownership of the self. You could talk about like going to confession, right? It's like, what have you done? What could you have done differently? The ownership of that. So I think we all have a little bit of a devil and a little bit of an angel on our shoulder. I think some people naturally have a better moral compass than others for a number of reasons, but this is like saying to me somebody's been battling their own shadow side, battling their own demons. I do feel like it's been really difficult for them, because you have the 9 of Wands up here starting this reading, which is the wounded warrior card. It's somebody who's been fighting a battle for a long time. Now it could be talking to me with the death card here as well. It could be talking to me about somebody who's been fighting physically a health battle for a long time, so fighting away death. It could be somebody who's been fighting. It could be mental, like mental health issues. It could be a factor, but I feel like because the 9 of Swords isn't here, the 9 of Swords indicating mental health, and it being the 9 of Wands, the Wands are more physical, so it feels like more of a physical battle that somebody's been fighting against death. Kind of like if you think about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or Bogus Journey, I forget which one's which, where they go down and kind of play the game with death, the game of chess, and then they do Twister and things like this. I'm sorry, it comes from, my guides are really funny. They've got a sense of humour, so a lot of the time the messages come through with like funny, humorous ways, which I think helps. I think it helps soften the message a little bit to be able to laugh at these things. Again, I'm not going to be the reader for everybody, right? Not everybody's going to take to me, and that's absolutely fine. I am literally just here because the messages come through, and I feel like it's my job to kind of like get them out there, and hopefully to whoever needs to hear it, and hopefully the message is going to really impact whoever needs to hear it in a really positive way. That's my hope. That's why I do this. You know, I'm not gaining financially or anything like that from it, and it takes up a lot of my time to do it. So just in case anybody was wondering about this, and that's not me being a fucking martyr, I enjoy doing it. I feel like it's my purpose. So yeah, so fighting a battle. But then it says, and it's really striking to me. I'm familiar with this message. I'm familiar with this energy, especially because this has the King of Pentacles next to it. Now, this is the person I'm reading for, whoever that is. That's their energy. This is the situational energy. So the person who I'm reading for is coming through as King of Swords energy, which is Aquarian energy. We have Aquarius here. We have Aquarius here. We have Aquarius here with the star. Strong Aquarius energy for the person I'm reading for, but they don't have to be Aquarius. It's like they are just in Aquarius energy, because they're showing as the King of Swords. So the way that I'm reading today, the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles are people around them that they're dealing with, sort of like counterparts, brother, sister, cousins, business partners. You know, it could be parents, but because they're shown as a king, it's more equivalent. So it could be mother and father, husband, wife. These kinds of energies is what's coming through down here. Sorry, my fingers are a little bit dry. I'm kind of trying to keep them off camera. I've not put my moisturizer on yet because I've just painted my nails. It's a whole thing. Yeah, you've got kind of Taurus, Capricorn, Scorpio here, Capricorn over here as well. But these energies combined, the kind of scorpionic energy with the kind of like wealth of the King of Pentacles, very much gives me Pluto energy. Now, the planet Pluto, based on the god Pluto, Hades, Dispater, he had a number of names, which, you know, he's kind of like Voldemort. You know, you shouldn't say the names. You know, that was very superstitious. You don't say the name in case you invoke this energy. But particularly, I think the mythology. I'm a classics student. I studied humanities with a specialism in classical studies and English literature. So yeah, like Shakespeare, like the stories that people tell are very much interesting to me, and why people tell those stories. So even like the Bible to me is like a story that humans tell, you know, a story that has come from human experience, and in that quest to understand, you know, what happens to us after we die, why are we here, all those kind of existential questions. To me, that's what that is, along with the Greek myths, which to me, like Dispater, he wasn't like the Christian devil. The Christian devil is this, you know, demon character who tries to tempt you and make you sin, which you can say is within all of us, right? We all have that voice of temptation that sometimes calls to us in different ways. Whether it's like, you know, some people smoke, right? Some people drink alcohol. Some people do things they shouldn't do. It can come up in a lot of different ways. A lot of the time, it comes through, even if you don't do any of those things, it comes through as self-sabotage, negative self-talk, holding ourselves back from the things that we want because we tell ourselves we're not good enough. So the devil can play out in a lot of different ways in our lives, and it affects us all differently, if you want to talk about it that way, the shadow side, which to me is more like Carl Jung and philosophy and that sort of thing. But this kind of plutonic energy to me is very fatherly. It's very stoic. It's again based on the myths and the attitudes around that god. You know, Hades, Pluto, Dispater, he had a job to do. He was given the underworld by Lot. It wasn't because he was a bad person, but he was very solemn. He was very melancholy. You know, he was very serious. He had a job to do and he took it very seriously. You know, he had to keep the souls in the afterlife so that they didn't run rampant on earth. You know, he took his job very seriously. It was an important job. You know, the things about Osiris and stuff as well, you know, having the soul weighed after death, and you know what happens to you down in the underworld and these kinds of things. And you can compare that to like St. Peter, right, as well, these equivalent myths. You know, do you get into heaven? Do you get into the afterlife? You know, it takes different forms in different stories, but there's certain components that stay the same. So yeah, so to me, it's he was known as the rich one, this plutonic energy, the rich one, because one of his jobs was, you know, if you think about how nutrients, when a body dies and decomposes, nutrients go into the earth and it helps plants to grow. Plants being a, you know, you can see here on the King of Pentacles card, like these grapes, you know, plants being traditionally of a source of wealth. You know, like landowners would often be wealthy because they could, you know, grow crops and things on the field. So, you know, this association with death and rebirth and nutrients in the soil, and obviously like minerals and riches and gems and ores that were all kind of Pluto or Dissipator's job to kind of put in the soil. So he was known as the rich one. So these energies together very much say, you know, if you look at classical stories of people going down into the underworld to confront their inner demons, or, you know, if you want to look at Odysseus, you know, he went and open this portal to speak to people in the afterlife. Or if you want to look at Hercules and his 12 labors, he had to go down into the underworld. Or Orpheus going down and speaking, you know, he's losing his wife and going speaking to this god in the underworld and saying, can I have my wife back, please? And you know, if you look at that myth, Hades was particularly agreeable. He said, yeah, just don't look back at her as you leave. And he did. And, you know, that was a whole thing. But, you know, it's yeah, somebody's got a job to do. Makes me think as well of like I watched there's a videos on YouTube called Soft White Underbelly. The channel's called Soft White Underbelly, and it has all these different people with different stories from different walks of life. And one of them was he was a mob guy that I watched yesterday. It kind of gives me that energy, you know, somebody who's got an association with this kind of like dark energy, but they're very wealthy. You know, it kind of can play out in different ways, I want to say. You know, you have to go and talk to the mob boss, maybe. But it's this person who, whatever this is that they've been fighting, whether it's their own inner demons, whether it's an outside authority figure, perhaps, who's very controlling with money and has a bit of a dark edge, whether it's like their own journey to reconcile their own feelings of their own attitude to death and the afterlife, and, you know, reconciling their own feelings on that. It could be a lot of different things. What I want to say about this death card as well, you know, again, this is very much the classical view, and you want to look at kind of Spanish culture as well, kind of South American culture, and their attitude to death is very different, because this little boy is actually welcoming. He's welcoming death there. He's seeing him as a blessing, because and I want to be very careful how I speak about this, but for example, this card here indicates that somebody may have a very long battle with physical health, bad physical health. You know, sometimes death is not quick, sometimes death is long and painful and upsetting, and in those kind of situations, sometimes when the end finally comes, hopefully a natural end, it can be seen as a relief, you know, the lifting of a burden. That person has gone to a better place now, they're no longer suffering. I know that this is my feeling about my own mother. She died at Christmas. She had quite a short battle with cancer. She went quite quickly, but it was still a long, you know, comparatively quickly, but it was still months of this slow decline, and, you know, seeing her physical body get progressively worse, to the point where, you know, she was just sedated all the time, and couldn't eat, and was wasting away, and couldn't mentally wasn't there anymore, and all this kind of stuff. And it was difficult for her. It was difficult for you know, when your body doesn't work anymore, when your body isn't fit for purpose anymore, and when you're somebody like me who believes that the body is just a vehicle for the soul, and the soul lives on and possibly goes into, you know, possibly gets reborn, or possibly goes and has adventures in all these different places, it's easier to see death as something that's merciful, because it's released her. So it could be that somebody's rethinking their attitude to death, not as something that it robs you from robs a person, takes somebody away from you, or it's something that's cruel or something to be feared. Obviously in certain situations it's unfair, but in other situations it depends on the situation, I guess. This card here says a sincere wish will be granted. Now, wishing for money, wishing for jewels, wishing for diamonds. Perhaps somebody's wishing for diamonds. Maybe you're going to get those diamonds. Maybe somebody is passing away, you're going to get the money. Is that a sincere wish? To me, the true sincere wish is not for money, which you can't take with you, but a wish that comes from the soul. I hope that my family's okay. I hope that I see this person again. I hope that my soul is pure enough that I'll be judged worthy. You will be receiving or gifting a precious gift, guaranteed success. If it's a pure soul wish, it's guaranteed. So this person, from their energy, I am getting something about, I want what's owed to me. I worked hard for this. The Seven of Pentacles does talk about the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles does talk to me about a long time, right? The Seven of Pentacles talks about planting seeds and watching them grow. Nine of Wands tells me that a situation's ongoing. So it does tell me that somebody's persevered, because this is a card about perseverance. Persevered with something for a very long time. They've done the work. This kind of Virgo energy here. I've done the work. I plowed the fields. It's almost like this is the king, this is the king and this is the farmer. It's like, I plowed your fields. I made you wealthy. I did everything you asked me to do. Now I want what was promised to me. I want what was owed to me. It has that feeling. I know I'm guaranteed. It's almost this energy of somebody who is, I did all this work. I worked really hard because I knew that it was going to guarantee me success, right? I was promised things. It kind of has that energy to it. A lot of stars, by the way, because you've got all these pentacles in this reading, which again have all these stars on. I was promised success. I was promised fame. I was promised reward and recognition, perhaps. I did see the Six of Wands in the underline at one point, but then I pulled more cards and it's not there anymore. But the mountain as well. The mountain talks to me about climbing the road of success. Now, just to say, I'm very familiar with this storyline from Capricorn readings. The actual planet Pluto was in Capricorn for a long time. It's a very slow moving planet, and Capricorns were really experiencing this energy of like facing their inner demons, fighting those battles, experiencing things that really made them face their own fears or confront their inner demons. They were really doing that journey into the underworld, confronting the devil, coming back up energy for a long time. It has kind of eased a bit now, as Pluto's kind of getting ready and sort of starting to move into Aquarius. Again, it's kind of a bit of a back and forth thing. It takes a long time, but it's moving into Aquarius. And it's interesting that we start with this message that was coming through in Capricorn readings a lot, and we're going into, triple Aquarius energy over here. And we've got Capricorn here, Capricorn here. So this Capricorn Aquarius energy, which has this plutonic energy kind of moving through those signs, seems to be here. So it could be a collective message, right? Interesting. Capricorn does talk about the rules, that kind of in the box thinking of this is the way it's done, this is the way it's always been done, this is the way my father did it, this is the way my grandfather did it, this is the way I should do it, this is the way my son should do it. That kind of lineage thinking, traditional kind of I know where I stand. I know the rules are clear. I know where I stand. It's kind of Capricorn energy. And then going into, ruled by Saturn as well. Saturn, the planet of tough love, and then moving into this Aquarian energy. And Aquarius energy is much more thinks about society as a whole, much more thinking about doing what's right, not just for the self, but doing what's right for other people. It's much more egalitarian. I don't know if I use that word correctly, but hopefully I do. Much more kind of going from something that's very authoritative and like, these are the energies that are in power, quite patriarchal, to something that's more of a collective mentality of like, let's share the wealth, let's share the power, let's do this as a team. It's much more it's got this feeling of like society rather than, you know, the power from the top. So just to kind of throw that in there. So yeah, I've been doing the work. I want what's owed to me. Because the Three of Wands has this energy of like, you know, I climbed this mountain, I did the work, I gained success, I reached the peak, you know, I played the game. I played the game and I reached the peak, and there's nothing here for me. Where are my rewards? So the Three of Wands has this energy of like waiting for your ships to come in, waiting for the thing that's owed to you, right? And it feels like I was owed this because I did the work. Now, what's interesting is I feel like we went from this energy of like this person was in charge and this person was plowing the fields to actually this person gaining some, again, it's like they've gained some authority themselves. They're now a king, right? They're now a king, but they see something very, very clearly. They're also very good with communication. They have something to say. Now, sometimes the kings hold back. You know, sometimes the king's sword is pointed down. They're a little bit more reserved. They think about what they're going to say. When they speak, it's very, they've thought about it. They're quite clear about what they need to say. You know, the voice holds authority. You know, there's, it's precise. What they say is precise, you know. So if this person, you know, who I'm reading for has something to say, it's going to be quite to the point. And not in a brusque way, not in a harsh way, but it can be. You know, the King of Swords, he does what needs to be done, and he can do it quite swiftly. It's like the cleanest cut, right? It's again, it could be it can indicate a doctor, so we could be talking about somebody who with this thing about health, it could be something to do with like doctors. Maybe this person has been training as a doctor, something like that. So doctors, especially people who work in emergency rooms, have a very interesting association with death, right? You know, they really know what it means. You know, if you want to talk about like the Hippocratic Oath, you know, you treat anyone who needs treating, right? It doesn't matter where they come from, doesn't matter if they're a good person or not. If that person needs medical help and you're a doctor, you give them that medical help. That's the Hippocratic Oath, right? As far as I understand it, I've never taken it, I'm not a doctor. But again, it's kind of like, to be a doctor, you have to train for years, right? So, and then you reach the peak, you know, you get the qualifications, whatever that is. But it's coming through to me, again, like I feel like Capricorn had this this energy of I'm not saying what I'm thinking. This energy of like I did the work, I did the training, I got to the top of this career ladder, and I see it for what it is now. You know, it's not all that it was promised to be. But the nice thing is that this person now has equivalent authority, I want to say, to this Queen and King of Pentacles. So I don't know who these people are, but this is the person the reading is for, because that's the way that I've set it out. And these people are in the environment. Could be father and mother, right? King and Queen of Pentacles. Could be business partners. But I want to say, I mean, this shows an imbalance. There's something. So this shows something that's not fair. You know, not equal, not balanced. These two people are normally partnered. If they come out from the same deck, this is like business partners, husband and wife. This kind of energy. But these people, I want to say, they're too preoccupied by the tangible, right? They're too preoccupied with the money. They're not bad people. Not bad people. You know, very, very skilled. Very. You know, if they've got their feet on the ground, probably quite sensible. They probably do things like, you know, they probably work really hard to get what they have. They probably, you know, they put food on the table, they put a roof over people's heads. They're very nurturing. It's a good energy, but they're very preoccupied with the money. And I want to say that the message that was coming through here was, well, you can't take it with you. You can't take the money with you, which seems to be the message that this person is seeing clearly. It's like, okay, money is a tool, money is important, money, you know, that money is going to pay for my child's education, that money is going to put a roof over my head. It's going to make sure I've got food. You know, you can do a lot of good with a lot of money. Again, look at, I've been showing this to everybody in work as well, the visual representation of wealth. If you want to Google that and you scroll, and it shows you how much you're likely to earn in a lifetime based on the average American salary. And then it shows you how much Jeff Bezos earns. And then there's sections which, like, he could pay for the cancer treatment for everybody. He could pay for everybody's chemotherapy, and it's just like a tiny section of how much wealth he has. So this thing about what you do, they kind of gave me that Batman quote of it's not who you are but what you do that defines you. But this is almost, it's not what you do but who you are that defines you, like, because you're talking about your soul. So it's like the clarity, right? Just clarity, the clarity that comes from having that higher perspective, very Aquarian energy of money's just a thing, money's just a tool, money is just a commodity. It's not, it doesn't define you, right? What defines you is this moral compass. I want to say I've got a pretty good moral compass. You know, I think I'm a good person. You know, a lot of the things, if you want to talk about like the Bible stories, I think, you know, a fair few of the things that you're taught there, I think come quite naturally to me. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect. Like, I'm saying everybody has this that they work with. But on the whole, I think I'm not a terrible person. So yeah, I do have a good moral compass. So there's some kind of imbalance here that somebody, I think, is seeing because they've got this higher perspective. They've done this pilgrimage, and it can talk about an internal pilgrimage as well. You know, doing the shadow work. If you want to Google shadow work in terms of, and this isn't like, oh, it's so funny compared to what your song is. And when I say shadow work, and I know I'm pulling tarot cards, and I know that some people, like for example, one of my dad's ex-girlfriends would have been horrified by this. She was very, she was Christian, she was very Bible-y, and she was very judgy, and I was like, judge not lest ye be judged. You know, he who throws this first, you know, he who casts the first stone and all that kind of stuff. You know, don't judge others because we're all sinners. You know, I throw a lot of shit back at her, but which is true because you know, sometimes people from very religious backgrounds can be very, very judgmental, and I'm like, listen, there's only one person who can be judging me, and it's not you, bitch. So you know, you want to stop judging and you want to get to confession, because that's not a good look, honey. Hi, if that's you. I'm getting a bit defensive because the song that clarified this was Black Magic Woman, and I'm not seeing anyone here who is doing anything remotely like black magic, right? In that kind of sense of like, maybe like there's something about paganism, maybe there's something, but again, paganism, it's a very old religion. It's not witches riding broomsticks, right? And that kind of black magic woman gave me that kind of, oh, this person's a witch, you know, riding a broomstick, you know, being blasphemous and doing the devil's work. That's bullshit, mate. Because what I'm actually saying is exactly the stuff that comes through in the Bible. If you're particularly religious, and you're saying to me, I'm a tarot card reader, I'm doing something blasphemous, I want to say I'm not actually. And I'm going to defend myself here because the messages that are coming through are the same messages. Be a good person. You can't take it with you. You know, you want your soul to be able to pass through the eye of the needle. If you look at a lot of the different religions, they all carry the same messages. So why would you say that that's wrong? If I'm teaching the stuff that is, you know, the key messages, the core messages, the important messages, if that's what's coming through here, then why would you see me as working for the devil if I'm saying the same thing? You know, talking about the pilgrimage and the 10 Commandments, and you know, these messages are Bible messages coming through in a tarot card reading. And I actually want to point out something here in my mum's Bible. The author, although the penmanship was human, the authorship was divine. God himself guided and inspired the writing. This is certain for 3 reasons. The writers say the words they wrote were inspired by God. Okay, well, I don't know where my messages are coming from. I know that I'm getting messages that are not from me internally. There is some kind of higher power here talking through my readings. I don't know who it is. Maybe it is the devil, but if it is the devil, they're saying pretty good stuff here, I'd say. You know, be a good person, get a higher perspective. You can't take it with you. If you have money, do some good with it. I don't think they're bad messages. Maybe it is what would be considered God. Maybe it's the universe. Maybe it's my ancestors. Maybe it's my higher self. I don't know where the messages come from. Okay? But, you know, just because someone says the message has come from somewhere doesn't give it credibility. Jesus Christ said it was God's word. Well, I'm not sure if he's around right now, but we can, if we find him, we can ask him. The fulfillment of prophecy has proved it. Okay, well, I prophesize things in my readings. Happens all the time. I will say something, I'll predict something, and it'll come true all the time. It's common now. It's tiny things, little things. We're going to get busy in 20 minutes in work, and then we get busy in 20 minutes. We're going to be mad until dinner time, and then it's going to calm down. It's mad until dinner time, it calms down. I'm being shown images the day before it happened. I'm being shown images of Will Smith. I'm being shown his movies. The song's playing. I'm getting the name Will. I could be talking about somebody called Will, and then Will Smith is in the news because of what he did at the Oscars. So these are just small details. I saw the death card and the tower card, which says there's going to be a surprise death the morning that we got a phone call that somebody in the family had passed away. So if you want to talk about prophecy, then that's something that I'm experiencing. So I've proven myself that way. So who says that all these old men, all these old men wandering around, 40 different writers who wrote the Bible and lived in different countries over a period of some 150 years, 1,500 years. They came from different walks of life and social positions. Do tarot card readers not fit that mold, or are we going to dismiss these messages that people are clearly getting? You can look at different tarot card readers will all be getting the same message or the same motif, and like, how would that happen? Completely independently, everybody's talking about the same thing. So personally, I think there's something to it. I think it's been proven to me so many different times. If it's not for you, if you think I'm a black magic woman, then I can't change your opinion. It's not for me to do that. You're going to have whatever opinion you want, and it's not really for you to judge me at the end of the day, is it? I feel like I'm connected to something here that's above any human. So I don't know, that's something that perhaps I'm coming to terms with. I don't know why this is all coming out in this reading. Again, I'm very uncomfortable doing it. I don't like to talk about these kinds of things because I think people have very strong opinions about it, and I don't know. Anyway, so this person's up this hill. They've getting some kind of epiphany, very Moses-like, right? They did the pilgrimage up on the hill, waiting for something. And then you get this dog barking, advice from a friend, and this friend appears to be this Aquarian energy, so a matching energy, somebody else who sees something from a different perspective. Now, the lovely thing about this depiction, excuse me a second. Okay, so the lovely depiction on this card is that this crow, again, associated with perhaps the temptation energy, perhaps whatever this dark energy is representing, trying to hand this person the pentacle, trying to tempt this person again with the pentacle, with the money. Do it for the money, do it for the wealth, do it for the riches. And I want to say he has a different perspective. His head's glowing. He has like an aura around his head, like almost like what you see on the depiction of saints. I want to say it's because he's had this message, perhaps from a friend. Perhaps that friend is God. He has a different perspective now. He knows. He sees something higher. He sees something more clearly. I'm saying he because it's coming through as a king, but just know you can flip and reverse it. He's not tempted by this anymore. He recognizes that this weighs you down, right? How do you climb that mountain if you're dragging around suitcases full of gold? It's going to take you a long time to reach the top of the mountain if you've got to lug a load of heavy luggage around. But if you travel light, you can travel fast. You can travel more quickly. And this is what this person's kind of recognizing. So it's actually a very positive reading. I don't know why Black Magic Woman is the song for it. I'm kind of offended by that because, again, I think I'm a good person. I think if I was, I don't know, having a pint with Jesus, I think he'd think I was all right. I think he'd be like, you're one of the good ones, maybe work on a few of these things, maybe work on your ego a little bit, maybe work on not worrying so much about what other people think of you, but you're a decent human being, and yeah, I don't know, I like to think that I'm on the right side. I'm on the right side of such things. So what do I want to say? What do I want to say? I think most people, no matter what you believe, have kind of a moderate, middle ground, reasonable approach to these things. I think most people recognize that the Bible was written by different people in different circumstances, in situations that, you know, history, like humans have moved forward, and the situations that a lot of the time some of the messages do apply. And I think this is where a little bit of the danger is, just because some messages apply doesn't mean that all messages in the Bible should apply. They were written in a different time and place. So and maybe that's the thing, maybe that's the test, you know. Maybe the test is being able to think for yourself, and to be able to trust that inner compass, trust that inner voice, trust your true connection to God. If, you know, if God is omnipotent, omnipresent, then he's everywhere at all time. You know, he's already speaking to you. You already have that voice within. And how do you determine between right and wrong? You know, what is your own moral guidance? And learning to trust that inner voice that's speaking from the highest place, and not, you know, through temptation or self-destruction or any of these kind of things. So what does the light inside you tell you? Because I think, you know, again, it's maybe that's the test. How do you distinguish between the false prophets? I got Prophets in the Sky as well by the Cat Empire a little bit earlier. So let's go Enchanted Map Oracle. See what advice wants to come through this one. This is exactly how the cards came out, by the way. I didn't set anything up here. I'm annoyed that they went off camera, but compass, yeah, that's why I'm going to be honest with you, that's why I use this deck, because I was talking about your own internal compass, and I knew that there was a compass card in this deck. And I hope that you could just see the edge of these cards when they flipped at the edge of the screen here, because genuinely these are the cards that came out. I used this deck because I was seeing that compass card in my head, and it came out. Ride the wave. Compass, ride the wave. Again, confirmation for me happens all the time. Wish it happened on camera a little bit more. Again, it's not for me to convince anyone here. You either believe or you don't believe. And I think the main voice that you should believe is whatever your inner voice is telling you. If your inner voice is saying, I disagree with this woman, she's full of bullshit, then, you know, it's not for me to prove otherwise. As long as you orient your compass to true north, the direction of your higher power, you will never be lost. I love that confirmation that I'm just amazing. Again, watch that ego. You're entering uncharted territories right now. It's kind of partially joking, by the way. I do make a lot of terrible jokes. You're entering uncharted territories right now and can expect wonderful new experiences. To stay on the highest path of your destiny, you need to keep your compass pointed towards true north. Only spirit or a higher power can serve this function. Money, property, prestige, romance, and other material achievements can't help you find your true path. They are simply things that you may experience along the journey. Know that spirit is, I told you, it's like I don't know if it's like a spiritual internal pilgrimage. That's kind of how it feels. And some people may be physically going to some kind of pilgrimage site. I think, was it Helen? I don't know, like the wife of Constantine, was it? Like, she did a lot of pilgrimagey stuff. She was kind of like the mother of travel, you know, the tourism industry. I learned that in my degree, but okay. They are simply things you may experience along the journey. Know that spirit is working in your life, so even if you feel lost temporarily, it will be easy for you to find your way. Have faith and trust for your compass, with spirit as your true north, whatever that means to you, right? The higher power, the spirit within, your own inner guidance system, will ensure that you never... spirit as your true north will ensure that you will never be lost, even on a starless night when all seems dark. What did I tell you? Messages are coming from somewhere, babes. Right now, success is easy and effortless, so this is ride the wave. You will be assured that you're entering a time when you can ride the wave of abundance. The tide has turned, and you can put your surfing skills to the test. Everything that you know, all of your talents, coupled with your hopes and dreams, will carry you forward. People and circumstances have come out of the ocean of potential and possibility to take shape in a wave of spectacular activity. Know that you're definitely on the right path. So if you were doubting it, whatever that higher journey is that you're doing, you are on the right path. And I think you do see it clearly. If this is your reading, I think this person sees it very clearly. It's the King of Swords. Very clear thinking, very much that higher perspective. This is a lovely card as well. It does talk about a couple of things symbolically for me. One is Aphrodite Venus. She's often shown with dolphins because of her. She was born from the sea, so dolphin can be a symbol of Aphrodite Venus, which talks about love and beauty and all these gorgeous things, the feminine. She was revered by the Julie family, so you talk about Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, who were, Augustus Caesar, look at when he was born, could be interesting, just, timeline wise. He would, for example, the Augustus Prima Porta statue, there's a child riding a dolphin, again, with this reference to the Julie family being associated with Venus, who was very much the patron saint of Rome. She was this mother figure, right? This maternal, protective figure for Rome. Very slightly different energy coming off the Roman Venus to the Greek Aphrodite, but really gorgeous energy. And that Prima Portia statue, again, I'm getting a lot of Capricorn in this reading. Is talking to me about the same topics that come up for Capricorn a lot. This energy of, the Prima Portia statue being a mimic of Aeneas fleeing Troy with his father on his back and leading his son by his hand. The Prima Porta statue, this is shown by the shield, the chest plate that Augustus wears, which talks about his lineage, his heritage, how he fits in that timeline of history, and leading this child by the hand, which is a depiction of bringing in the new generation, being a teacher, being a father figure, being a role model for the new generation to come. What do you pass down? What do you leave behind? What do you leave in the past, and what do you pass down to your children? What values are worth keeping and what feels a little bit dated? And the ability for every single person at this moment in history to be that filter, to make those decisions, to make the next generation stronger and closer to God, perhaps, if you like, than the generation before. So learning those lessons. The wave could be talking about generational waves. But there's two dolphins here, which does talk to me about companionship, love. It's like when you find this, when you find your true soul's core, your soul's purpose, who you are authentically, the purity of your own soul. When you let your true colours shine, when you discover that, when you find that connection to God, it's very empowering. A lot of the things that you cared about before kind of slip away. And to me, it's like this universal energy, this higher power, not necessarily, the biblical God. It's just, this energy has different names. So this source energy, when you find that unconditional love from source energy within you, a lot of the things that you find you were chasing before pale in insignificance. You realize that they're the transitory, what was it again? Everything is temporary by Halsey. Everything's temporary, but your soul is forever. It's been, it's from the beginning of time till the end of time. It's eternal. So you do gain a different perspective when you adopt this kind of thinking. And that's everybody. That's not me being special. Everybody is a manifestation of God. Everybody has this voice within them. That's not unique to me. It's every single person has this. Just sometimes it's harder to find. Sometimes that diamond is buried under a lot of dirt and soil and soot and grime, and sometimes it needs washing off a little bit. But everybody has it. Shine bright, be authentic, listen to that inner voice, that inner compass, your higher self, trust your own guidance. It's going to serve you well. And a lot of the times when you're doing what you are called to do, I was talking about this as well in regards to Aquarius energy and kind of the age of Aquarius, and some of the big planets being in that sign at the moment. It's an energy. Aquarius has a association with technology and advancements in technology. So if you want to look at comparatively speaking, within the last, say, 50 years, especially like the last sort of 20 years, or there's been a huge increase, like a rapid increase in the development of technology. Like the things that we can do now, cell phones didn't exist, or mobile phones didn't exist, really. They were very new. When I was a teenager, they were very new. Not many people had them, and then the Nokias came out. Everybody had a Nokia. Up and before that in the 80s, it was kind of like you were probably working on Wall Street and you probably had a huge brick phone. So like if you just look at phones, if you just look at computers and like computer chips and things like VR, and the rapid development of technology, I think that whether somebody's a good person or not, if they're serving a collective purpose, they get a lot of money. So if you look at the big names in technology, the people who are bringing about these rapid developments, the universe is kind of using them as a tool, I think, to make this fast progress, because I think it serves everybody, collectively serves everybody. The internet, connectivity, all these advancements really has a collective purpose. So the universe is going to provide that money if it serves the collective purpose. So money is just a tool to get things done. And it's not, it's what you do that defines you, I guess. So I don't know. If you're meant to have money, the universe is going to give you money. If you have that need to serve a great purpose, the universe is going to give you that. But if you're chasing money, then you're chasing the wrong thing, right? It's just going to weigh you down. I don't know. There's some kind of message there. I hope this reading was meaningful to somebody. I'm meant to be doing Aries, but this felt like such a huge important reading, like somebody was really having some kind of epiphany there. So I hope this was helpful. Do please take care of yourselves. Don't send me any hate. I won't pay any attention to it. Focus on the good. Focus on the, there's only one person who's going to judge me, or one energy that's going to judge me at the end of the day that I really care about, and they're probably not watching a YouTube video. But go forth, be good people, take care of yourselves. Bye. Sorry, I'm back because I'm tidying up the cards and I'm getting some funny messages. And they're telling me phone a friend, and referring to how the Bible that I was showing you, it's King James's Bible. It's that version of the Bible that was written by obviously King James in roughly 1600-ish, Shakespeare time, which again is very much my territory. I spent a year studying Shakespeare, know the history, I know the background of that period of history. Wasn't great. There was some really shit stuff going on. Is that really the King James version of the Bible? Is that really the person I should be listening to right now? This guy who was around 400 years ago and maybe wasn't the greatest person, possibly. I don't know. Maybe there was a lot of not great stuff happening in that time. Or should I phone a friend and really trust that inner voice? Who's talking to me right now? Like when I need that direct feedback that's modern, it's in the moment, it's on topic, right? It's not kind of 400 years ago in a very different situation. Who do I ask? You phone that friend, you ask the right person in the moment. I don't know, there's something to that. You can talk about as well, like I don't know, Henry Tudor and the change from Catholicism into Protestantism and the history of that and the reasons for that, and the difference between like having the middleman or having that one-on-one discussion with that higher source energy. I don't know, there's a lot to talk about, and I don't want to talk about it because people are touchy. But yeah, phone a friend, they were giving me get that direct line car insurance. I don't know. I'm going. Take care. Bye.